Hi, it's Mike Stevenson here. In today's video, we're going to take a look at the Logic App Testing series and the new series I'm doing about unit testing Logic Apps. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the solution structure for the demo project that we've got. So if we zoom in a little bit here, okay, so we can see over on the left-hand side here we've got the solution structure. And we've really got a couple of key bits to it. So down here we can see more of a code view where we've got the VS Dev Kit, and we've really got a few different projects here. Now up at the top you'll see the workspace view here. So I have a Logic App workspace, and in one folder I've got the main Logic App that we'll look at in a few moments. Another folder I've got a function project for use in Logic Apps when we can do inline functions. We've then got a folder which has got different flavors of tests in it, and that's one of the things we'll focus on the most during the series of videos. And then I also have a deployment folder here where we're going to look at how you can do a DevOps deployment using Bicep, how you can use YAML pipelines, and how you can plug those tests into those pipelines. Okay, so first off, let's have a look at the Logic App project at the top here. So you'll see as we go down this project, it's a very typical project. We've got the various JSON files at the bottom, and then we've got a number of workflows kind of mainly down here and a couple at the top up here. So we're going to look at different flavors of how to test Logic App workflows. So I think if we take like a use case example, there'll be different kinds of workflows in here that might represent patterns you implement. We'll be doing things like listening to service bus. We'll be doing basic workflows. We're doing try-catch blocks. We'll also do some agentic AI workflows, and we'll have a look at how you might test those as well. So there's a whole bunch of different types of workflow in this project. Next, we'll look at the function app project. Now, this this function's really simple. I think if I remember right, it's just the out of the box weather function here. So you can see kind of down here we've just got that typical typical pass zip code, get the weather back kind of function. Nothing special about that. I really just wanted to be able to show how you can test a function, a Logic App workflow that has a function in it. Now, in the tests folder, so there's a couple of different kinds of tests here. So there's one folder here that has acceptance tests in it. So this is using the open source test framework that I developed a couple of years ago, where we can test Logic Apps that have been deployed to Azure. We can test how those workflows work. We then have this Logic App folder here, which has the tests using the Microsoft unit test framework for Logic App Standard. So we'll talk about the differences between those kinds of tests and how they can implement different needs that you'll have when you're doing different kinds of testing. And then we'll also have a test project here for the functions. So we need to be able to test those functions we're going to build before we use them within our workflows to make sure they're going to be, we're going to maximize the use of them. So in the different videos, we'll be looking at some of the different types of testing using examples in these folders. Finally, we've got the deployment folder. So you'll see here we've got a couple of things. If I'll just maybe stretch some of these a little bit. Okay, so first up at the top here, we've got the deployment folder, and then inside here we've got the infrastructure. So this is where I'm going to have some Bicep, and we're going to have a Bicep file with the local parameters where I can deploy it from VS Code for my developer testing. And then I've got a template file here where I'm going to be able to inject pipeline variables into that into the Bicep file, and we're going to be able to deploy this application to multiple different environments. Now, in some of the videos later on, we'll talk a little bit about this solution. Next up, we've got YAML pipelines. So again, we'll talk a bit more about these in a future video, but here we've got a bunch of different pipelines. So this one here is actually the main pipeline. We've got some variable files for different environments here, and then we've got some templates in the template folder. Now, what I'm hoping is if you're wanting to build your own solution, some of these templates will be really easy to reuse for your scenario. And then finally, for the local deployment, if you're wanting to deploy it from VS Code yourself, there's just a README down here with a bit of information, so how you can right-click and deploy stuff if you need to. Okay, so that really covers the solution structure. So I wanted to make this a quite short video at the start to help everybody become familiar with this sample project that we're going to use in this series of videos.